Good day, everyone. We are Group 5 and we will going to discuss about leadership. So I am Laika Lungay and I am the first reporter. Okay, let's start. So unsa jud ay ang leadership? So leadership is the ability to develop a vision that motivates others to move with a passion towards a common goal. So, ang leadership daw is a process by which a person influences others to accomplish an objective and directs the organization in a way that makes it more cohesive and coherent. So, leadership also can be traced back to ancient civilization, where rulers and military commanders were seen as natural leaders due to their ability to inspire and guide others. So ayon daw kay M. Chambers, ang leadership daw is a process of social influence in which one person can enlist the aid and support of others in the accomplishment of a common task. So ano ni M. Chambers na ang true leader is not someone who simply gives order and expects them to be followed blindly. Instead, a leader must be able to inspire and motivate others to work towards a common goal. This requires a strong communication skills, empathy, and the ability to build trust among team members.
Good day, everyone. Good day, ma'am. I am Genevieve Lucero, and I'm going to discuss the characteristic of leadership. So, leadership must have followers, and it is working relationship between leaders and followers. And purpose is to achieve some common goal or goals. A leader influences his followers willingly, not by force. And also, leadership is exercised in a given situation. It also a continuous process. So, this characteristic of leadership highlights that it involves guiding others towards common goals through voluntary support, collaboration, and influence rather than assertion. It's a dynamic process that adapts to different situations and requires continuous effort to inspire and motivate others towards success. So we have here the leadership is refers to leading people, and this involves taking charge, setting direction, and aspiring others to follow by example. So the second one is influencing people. Leadership entails persuading and motivating others to share a vision or pursue a common goal through effective communication and interpersonal skills. The third one is guiding people. So, leadership provides guiding and support to their team members and offering advice, direction, and mentorship to help them navigate challenges and achieving success. So, the fourth one, commanding people. So, while leadership involves giving direction and making decision, it's important to do so with respect and consideration for the input and well-being of others, rather than simply insuring others without regard for their perspective or autonomy. So that's all about my part.
Good day everyone, my name is Francis Angelo Lavides and I will be discussing about the four factors of leadership. So the first factors of leadership is leader. So being a leader, you must have an honest understanding of who you are, what you know and what you can do. To be successful, you have to convince your followers, not your superiors, that you are worthy of being followed. When we say leader, a leader is someone who people look up to and follow. And dapat honest sila with themselves about their strengths and weaknesses. So dapat they have to show others what they are a good person to follow. So kinahanglan nila ipakita nga mag-work hard and be a good example, not just to their bosses but to their followers too. The next factor is follower. A follower must know you must know your people. The fundamental starting point is having a good understanding of human nature, such as needs, emotions, and motivation. So being a good follower means understanding the people around you. Just like how you know what you like and what makes you happy, and it's important to know what others like and what motivates them. In this way, you can support and work together with them in the best way possible. It's like being a good friend who knows how to make their friends happy. When you understand people, you can be a great follower and help everyone work together smoothly. The next factor is communication. The nonverbal communication is leading when you set example that communicates to your people that you would not ask them to perform anything that you would not be willing to do. Bad communication harm the relation between leader and employee. So communication is like talking to your friends or family. Sometimes we use words to tell them things, but other times we use our body language like smiling or frowning to show how we feel. As a leader, it's important to use both words and body language to show your team how much you care about them. If you only use words, they might not believe you, but if you also show them with your actions, they will know that you truly care about them. Bad communication can make people feel sad or angry, and it can hurt the relationship between a leader and their team. That's why it's important to always communicate clearly and make sure your team knows you are there for them. So, the last factor is situation. We must use our judgment to decide the best course of action and the leadership style needed for each situation. What we do in one situation will not always work in another. For example, imagine you have different toys to play with, like Legos and dolls. You have to use your brain to figure out which toy to play with and how to play with it. Just like in different situations, we have to think and decide what is the best thing to do and how to do it. What works in one situation may not work in another. Just like how playing with a doll is different from playing with Legos. We have to use our brain and choose the right way to handle each situation. Let us proceed to leadership traits. So, trait leadership means having certain qualities that make someone a good leader in many different situations. Just like sa ubang tao that are good at playing sports and sa uban pod nga howd mag drawing. So, some people have their natural traits that can make them great leaders, and these traits can be things like being confident, responsible, and kind. So when someone has these traits, pwede sila mahimong good leader no matter what group or organization they are in. That is all. Thank you.
So, good day everyone. I am King Layoy and I will be the next reporter of this group. So, I will going to discuss the leadership styles up to threat theory. So, first, leadership styles. So, we have authoritarian or autocratic. So, in the first bullet, leader makes decisions without reference to anyone else. So, the leader autonomously makes decisions without seeking input or consensus from others. This unilateral approach allows for swift decision making but may neglect valuable perspectives and contributions from the team. It could lead to a lack of buy-in or engagement among team members, so impacting moral and overall effectiveness. The next bullet is high degree or dependency on the leader. So the team displays a significant reliance on the leader for direction, guidance, and decision making. This dependency may stem from a lack of empowerment, clarify, or trust within the team. While it can provide stability and a clear chain of command, it also risks stifling innovation creativity, and individual growth within the team. So the third bullet can create demotivation and alienation of staff. This situation can lead to demotivation and a sense of alienation among staff members. When employees feel disconnected or disengaged from decision-making processes, they may become less motivated to what to call it, contribute or excel in their roles. So addressing this issue requires fostering a culture of inclusivity where all team members feel valued and empowered to participate in shaping the organization's direction. The last one bullet is maybe valuable in some types of business where decisions need to be made quickly and decisively. So this approach could prove beneficial in industries characterized by rapid changes and time-sensitive decisions. In sectors such as technology or emergency services, quick and decisive decision-making is often essential for maintaining competitiveness or ensuring safety. However, it's important to balance this urgency with opportunities for collaboration and input to harness diverse perspectives and promote long-term success. So the next is the participative or democratic. So encourages decision making from different perspectives. Leadership may be emphasized throughout the organizations. So encouraging decision making from different perspectives can take on two main approach, which is consultative and persuasive. So we have the first approach. So we have the consultative. So process of consultation before decisions are taken. So in a consultative approach, decisions are made through a process of consultation before final decisions are taken. This involves gathering input from various stakeholders, considering their perspectives, and integrating their feedback into the decision-making process. These methods promote inclusivity and ensures that decisions reflect a broad range of insights and considerations. So the next approach is the persuasive. So leader takes decision and seeks to persuade others that the decision is correct. So a persuasive approach involves leaders making decisions autonomously and then seeking to persuade others that the decision is correct. So in this method, leaders are rely on their authority, expertise, or reasoning to convince others of the validity and benefits of the decision. While this approach can be efficient in certain situations, it may not always fully utilize the diverse perspectives and expertise within the organization. So these two approaches no have their merits and may be appropriate depending on the context, organizational culture, and the nature of the decision at hand. So, however, fostering a balance between the two can ensure that decisions are both well informed and effectively implemented, ultimately contributing to the organizational success. So we are now down to theories of leadership. So first theory of leadership, we have threat theory. So early on, it was thought that leaders were born with inherent physiological and personal threats. So these are the four key threats of the threat theory. So we have first age, second height, third intelligence, and lastly academic achievements. So we have the first, no? So we have the age. Initially, age was considered a significant factor in leadership, with older individuals believed to possess greater wisdom and experience. So the second one is height. Taller individuals were often associated with leadership qualities as height was perceived to convey authority and dominance. The third one is the intelligence. High intelligence was deemed essential for effective leadership as it enables individuals to analyze conflicts, situations, and make informed decisions. So lastly, academic achievements. Academic success was seen as an indicator of intellectual capacity and competence contributing to leadership potential. So, Stockdale, 1974, identified several general factors that differentiate leaders from non-leaders. So, Stockdale's contribution in 1974, Stockdale conducted influential research in the field of leadership, identifying several general factors that differentiate leaders from non-leaders. While his work acknowledged the significance of threats, it also emphasized the complexity of leadership, suggesting that effective leadership involves a combination of various factors beyond individual characteristics. So, in conclusion, no, all thought threat theory initially dominated discussions on leadership. Subsequent research has revealed the limitations of solely focusing on innate qualities. While threats may play a role in leadership emergence, Stockdale findings underscore the multifaceted nature of effective leadership, highlighting the importance of situational factors, skills, and behaviors in determining leadership success. So I think that conclude my report. Next reporter, please.
So, good evening everyone. By the way, I am Gladys May Mahinay, and tonight I'm going to talk about the managerial grid, role theory, and behavioral theory. But first, let's discuss first the managerial grid in leadership. Managerial grid, developed by Doctors Robert R. Blake and Jane S. Moton, believe managers have different leadership styles, which led to two different dimensions of leadership. So, the grid identifies leadership styles based on two main concerns, which is the concern for production, or the x-axis, and the concern for people, or the y-axis. So, the first dimension is concern for production. Here, manager is oriented and focuses on getting results or accomplishing the mission. So, this reflects a manager's focus on achieving tasks, meeting deadlines, and overall efficiency. And the second one is the concern for people. Here, manager avoids conflicts and strives for friendly relations with subordinates, which is the y-axis. So the concern for people, it represents a manager's emphasis on employee well-being, fostering relationships, and creating a positive work environment. Later on, I will show you an image of the managerial grid that will help you understand more about this topic. But first, let me give you an example or a situation that will help you understand more deeper with this. So here's the scenario. Let's imagine a software development team and their manager, Sarah, to see the managerial grid in action. Scenario 1. This represents the concern for production. Let's assume they have a tight deadline. So here's the situation. There's a critical deadline approaching for a new feature. So Sarah might prioritize getting code finished on time, which is she has the concern for production. So she might be working late nights alongside the team, ensuring everything is on track. So potentially, she's neglecting some aspects of concern for people, like offering breaks or acknowledging their efforts. So in this scenario, this reflects how focused Sarah is on getting the software developed on time within budget. Now, let me give you a second scenario that represents the concern for people. So let's assume the team member struggles. So a team member is struggling with a technical issue. So Sarah might take time to explain things patiently, offer support, and ensure the team member feels comfortable asking questions. So in this scenario, she has a concern for people. So in this case, production might slow down a bit initially. So potentially lower concern for production in the short term. So the second scenario reflects how much Sarah cares about her team members' well-being, creates a positive work environment, and listens to their ideas. So the managerial grid would help us see where Sarah falls based on these situations. So actually, there are 5 main leadership styles, and later on I will show you and explain to you together with the image of the managerial grid. So here's the image of a managerial grid. As you can see, there are numbers laying on a landscape form and horizontal form. So the numbers 1 to 9 laying on a landscape form represents the concern for production, and the numbers laying from 1 to 9 in a horizontal form represents the concern for people. So the country club management, middle of the road management, impoverished management, team management, and authority compliance management are the 5 leadership styles identified by the managerial grid. So let me discuss first the impoverished management. As you can see, the concern for people is pointed to 1, and the concern for production is also pointed to 1. So as you can see, it has a very poor leadership style. So this style is characterized by a low concern for both production and people. So leaders in this category are often passive and make minimal effort. Moving on to the country club management. So as you can see, its concern for production range to 1, and the concern for people is very high, which range to 9. So this style is characterized by a high concern for people but a low concern for production. So leaders in this category prioritize creating a harmonious work environment but may neglect getting results. So the third one is the authority compliance management. So as you can see, its concern for production range to 9, and its concern for people range to 1. So this style is characterized by a high concern for production but a low concern for people. So leaders in this category focus on achieving results and may overlook the well-being of their employees. And the third one is the middle of the road management. And as you can see, its concern for production range to 5, and its concern for people is range to 5 also. So this style is characterized by a moderate concern for both production and people. So leaders in this category strive to maintain a balance but may not achieve optimal results in their area. And the last one is the team management. So as you can see, its concern for production range to 9, and its concern for people range to 9. So this style is characterized by a high concern for both production and people. So leaders in this category are collaborative and encourage participation while also focusing on achieving goals. So according to the creators of the model, this is the most effective leadership styles. So the leadership grid is a simplified model and doesn't account for all complexities of leadership styles. However, it can be a useful tool for helping leaders understand their own strengths and weaknesses and for identifying areas for development. So, by plotting a manager's score on each dimension, ranging from 1 indicating low concern to 9 indicating high concern, the grid helps us identify their leadership styles. Moving on to the next slide, which is the role theory. So in this theory, assumptions about leaders in organizations are shaped by culture, training sessions, modeling by senior managers, and etc. So this means that our image of a leader isn't random. So it's influenced by the organization culture, the values and behaviors seen as desirable in leaders. Training programs further refine this image, and observing senior managers in action provides a real-world model. Next is people define roles for themselves and others based on social learning and reading. So this means that we don't come into organizations with blank slates about roles. Through social interactions and observing others, we learn what behaviors and characteristics are associated with specific roles. So we might gain insights from books or movies about workplaces. Also, in this theory, people form expectations about the roles that they and others will. So it says expectation forms. So this means that based on what we've learned, we form expectations about how people in certain roles should behave. We expect a leader to be decisive, while we might expect a team member to be collaborative. So people also form expectations about their own roles, what they should be doing, and how they should be acting. Also, in this theory, people subtly encourage others to act within the role expectations they have for them. So our expectations can be subtle influences. We might ask a colleague questions that nudge them towards a specific behavior as we associate with their role. For example, if we expect a leader to be creative, we might ask them, "Have you considered any out-of-the-box solutions?" Next is people will act within the roles they adopt. So this means acting within the role. So people tend to act in accordance with the roles they understand and have adapted. If someone sees themselves as a leader, they're more likely to take initiative and make decisions. So these reinforce the expectations others have of them. So the culture and learning shape our expectations of roles. So these expectations influence how we interact and behave, reinforcing the established roles within the organization. So this theory helps us understand how social influences shape behavior in organizations. It can explain why leaders act a certain way, how employees interact, and even how conflicts arise due to unmet role expectations. Moving on to my last topic, which is the behavioral theory. So this theory considered a foundational work in behavioral leadership theory. It aimed to understand leadership effectiveness based on observable behaviors. So this theory identified two dimensions of leader behavior, which is the initiating structure and consideration. So initiating structure. Role of leader in defining his or her role and roles of group members. So this describes a leader behavior in defining and organizing tasks. It involves setting clear goals, assigning roles and responsibilities, and establishing deadlines. The second one is the consideration. So leaders trust and respect for group members' ideas and feelings. So this dimension focuses on the leader's concern for the well-being and needs of their followers. So it includes showing trust, respect, and empathy for their ideas and feelings. So the Ohio State studies showed that effective leaders exhibit a balance of both initiating structures and consideration. So this challenged the notion of a single ideal leadership styles. So the behavioral theory has two different behavioral theories, which is the role and the managerial grid. So in the role theory, these theories suggest that leadership effectiveness depends on fulfilling the expectations associated with a particular leadership role. So it emphasizes understanding the leader's role within the group or organization and acting accordingly. The managerial grid developed by Blake and Moulton, this theory represents a two-dimensional grid that classifies leadership styles based on their concern for production or the task and people. So this grid helps identify different leadership approaches like task-oriented or relationship-oriented and their potential effectiveness in various solutions. So these behavioral theories, along with the Ohio State studies, provide valuable insights into leadership development. They emphasize that leaders can learn and practice specific behaviors to be more effective rather than relying solely on innate traits. And that would be all for my report. The next reporter will continue the discussion. Thank you.
Hello everyone, good evening. I am Mike Anthony Manalo. I'm a last reporter and I will discuss for this contingency theory and situational theory. Contingency theory is a contingency theory of the leadership. The success of the leader is a function of various contingency in the form of subordinate tasks and our group variables. The leaders who are effective at one's place and time may become unsuccessful either when transplanted to another situation or when the factors around them change. This helped to explain how some leaders who seem for a while to have the Midas touch accidentally appears to go off the well and make very unsuccessful decisions. Contingency theory of the management proposes that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to leadership. Instead, effective leadership depend on various situational factors, such as the environment, technology, culture, and people involved. For example, leaders may employ a democratic style when brainstorming with a creative them but switch to an authoritative approach during a crisis to make quick decisions. And now, institutional theory. The Hersey-Blanchard institutional leadership theory was created by Dr. Paul Hersey and Ken Blanchard. The theory states that instead of using just one style, successful leaders should change their leadership style based on the maturity of the people. They are leading one and the details of the task. Using this theory, leaders should be able to place more or less emphasis on the task. Situational theory suggests that effective leaders adapt to the readiness of the followers. Leaders adjust their style based on the competence and commitment levels of their team members. For example, a manager may provide more guidance and direction to a new employees but offer more autonomy to an experienced team member. That's all my report and thank you and good evening everyone.
That's all for our report. Thank you for listening, everyone, and good day.